My guest today is Brad Helfand. He's the COO, Chief Operating Officer of Vous Vitamin, a direct-to-consumer supplement company founded by two practicing physicians who identified a need in the market through patient feedback. After so many patients voiced their confusion about what vitamins or supplements they should take, Drs. Block and Levitan decided to solve the problem by creating Vous Vitamin. Vous Vitamin creates a personalized vitamin that fits everyone individually. They do that through an online survey funnel that's really like having a conversation with your doctor. Not only does this approach sell supplements through a quiz funnel, like I've talked about in a previous episode, but it also niches down on two factors. The first being personalization, and the second, Blue Vitamin, which is really how they're distributing them. So the recommended nutrients are all combined into one tablet that you take twice a day, which is another pain point that's being solved here. So Brad, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Bobby.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you kind of got started with Vous Vitamins?
Yes, so Bobby, my background is 20 years in the healthcare industry. A lot of my career has been spent working with enterprise healthcare organizations like hospitals and health systems. The early part of my career, I was actually a hospital administrator. And then for the bulk of my career, I worked in management consulting firms doing strategy projects for different kinds of healthcare clients. And the way that I got connected with Vous Vitamin really dates back to the summer of 2018. I was at that point a partner at a consulting firm and went into my local primary care doctor. And he said, Brad, go get a vitamin D and a melatonin. Well, I had never taken vitamins as an adult. So I went into Walgreens and started walking down the vitamin aisles. And I became this overwhelmed and confused consumer. I couldn't remember what dosage of vitamin D he told me to take in the office. These bottles are all marked in IUs. And I was this quintessential, just confused shopper. And I just started doing research on the industry and happened to come across an article in Shape magazine on personalized vitamins. And in reading that article, there were a number of quotes from Dr. Ariel Levitan, the founder of Vous Vitamin. And that name immediately struck me because my wife sees a primary care doctor in the suburbs of Chicago named Dr. Ariel Levitan. Turns out it's the same doctor as my wife's primary care physician. So I reached out to Dr. Levitan, built a relationship with her and her co-founder, Dr. Block. And in late 2018, we formed a partnership and I invested capital in the company, and we continue to grow the organization.
Wow, so it's really just a personal connection. That's a good story, and you're spot on with so much misinformation and overwhelm in the industry. It really makes it difficult for people to know what to buy and really how to buy when it comes to supplements.
Exactly. I think, in my local Whole Foods now, there are 4 aisles of dietary supplements. And, that's very overwhelming for your average consumer, especially if you've got a low literacy around nutrition labels and you don't know what half the ingredients are on the back of these labels. And so many consumers like me are perplexed, and many of them are looking for some help and guidance and navigation in the category.
So who would you say is your target market?
Our target market is adults in the United States broadly and generally speaking. However, we found we resonate particularly well with more mature consumers. In fact, many of our consumers are 40 plus aged individuals, Gen X or baby boomers. And I think what they really like about our model is we are a physician-founded company that's really grounded in the science and clinical evidence. I think many companies out there don't have that kind of background of being formed by doctors. And so older adults, I think, see that this is a physician-led organization, and they are interested in what the assessment will tell them about their health needs and vitamin needs.
Interesting. So on the terms of marketplace sophistication, we talked about that in earlier episodes. It's basically like yourself, you said you walked down the aisle, you didn't know really where to start, right? That's a very different customer than someone who's very knowledgeable about supplements. So where on that spectrum for you guys? I mean, that's a great demographic you're going after, but where on the spectrum of like marketplace sophistication would you say you guys are?
Yeah, I think we cover a large range of consumers, both sophisticated and unsophisticated. I think, and I'll kind of tell you why the model appeals to both. For customers that really aren't sophisticated around supplements, it's such a beautiful system to be able to enter in your data and get a personalized recommendation back. And that's more than what they can get from the local clerk at their retail store. And many pharmacists, by the way, are very undereducated on nutritional supplements. There have been studies done where less than 2% of pharmacists say that they're very knowledgeable about nutritional supplements. It's not something many pharmacists or even medical doctors receive in medical school, that kind of training. And so we're really good for consumers who are looking for guidance. And then for your more sophisticated consumers, even biohackers, I think many of them realize that off-the-shelf multivitamins are pretty ineffective products as they're in the mass market. So if you look at a men's or women's multivitamin, that's really A to Z nutrition, everything in the kitchen sink, 30 plus ingredients in the back label. Many of those you don't need, and many of them are at dosing levels that are way too low, ultra low for your personal needs. And so I think even your more sophisticated consumers recognize that mass market multivitamins just don't get the job done. And they're looking, well, how can I get a more effectual daily product for myself? And this is a system to do that.
Yeah, I think you do appeal to a very wide spectrum. The multivitamin is very difficult to sell because it doesn't really solve a immediate pain point. It's more of a preventative than a thing that's going to solve the problem now. Have you had any sort of what's your point of view on that? 'Cause that's my point of view.
Yeah, I think an untailored product, which is, what a multivitamin is, can't be very effectual for your personal needs. That's why we think that our system of doing an upfront assessment and gathering data on the consumer, and then getting to a more targeted formula. So not a multivitamin with everything, but with a curated set of nutrients that's right for your profile and optimized dosing levels. That's something that can really benefit a lot of consumers in their long-term health. And it's also something that they can be adherent with and stay on for a long period of time. Many consumers can't stick with a handful of pills. And if you look at the competitive landscape in the personalized vitamin category, many of the solutions out there are personalized pill packs. And what those companies will do is they'll take your data, much like we do, but then they'll assign you 8, 9, 10 plus pills and powders to swallow a day. And for many consumers, that's not something that's a sustainable long-term vitamin solution for their needs. And so we think there's a lot of elegance in our model to getting to bolder dosed multivitamins that are tailored to the individual.
Can you really get it down to just one pill, as your website says, one pill twice a day?
Yeah. So we're designing really effectual all-in-one multivitamins for individual needs. And by putting less ingredients in a pill, you could really optimize the dosing and make room for better dosing levels for an individual. The only thing that we don't put into our multivitamins are oil-based solutions like omega-3 oils, and those will offer separately to the consumer. And for some consumers, that's a good decision to take daily. For other consumers, it doesn't match their profile, and they really shouldn't be taking an omega-3 daily. So we're really curated in how we recommend that separate product.
So how does that recommendation happen? Does it happen after the cart as an upsell, after the quiz? Like walk me through kind of the funnel.
Yeah, so a consumer would go to our website, vousvitamin.com. They'd launch our quiz. They'd answer questions about their diet and food intake, their exercise and fitness levels, their health history, health status, medications, demographics, and lifestyle. What they would then see at the end of the quiz is their formula And if they needed a separate omega-3, we would recommend it at the end of the quiz as well. But they get to see exactly what we're recommending to them, including ingredients, dosing levels, and some rationale as to why we think that what we're recommending is the right thing for their personal profile.
I see. So I've noticed that the offer basically is on a separate page. So you go through the quiz, you answer the questions, you get your results on your results page. And then there's a separate page where is actually the offer is separate from the results page. Um, is that by design? Did you guys kind of test that and find that that's the best option?
Yeah, yeah. We want the results page to really be focused on what we're recommending and why we're recommending it. Some consumers will print off their results page and discuss it with their medical doctor or provider, which we encourage consumers to do. There's language throughout our survey that our recommendations should be discussed as with a medical provider to ensure that it's on target with your individual needs. And then on a separate page, we have the pricing. And for our pricing, we offer a 1-month trial, or folks can start an ongoing subscription and get 3 bottles delivered at a time or 6 bottles delivered at a time. And we only alter the pricing based on your shipping method and how many bottles you get at a time. There's no differential pricing based on what we're recommending to you for your multivitamin, which is really unique in the industry. It's a very pro-consumer model because the way we see it, there's a tension for the consumer when a vitamin company is making money on a per pill basis and recommends you handfuls of pills. That's not necessarily in favor of the consumer. There's business reasons why they may overprescribe. In our model, that's not the case. So we're selling targeted all-in-one multivitamins. We don't change the price based on what we're recommending to you as your personal formula.
That's got to make the cost of goods tricky. How are the economics of the funnel? It has to be a nightmare.
It's actually not. We're very good in terms of how we structure our formulations to be cost effective. And while we do make a different margin on different products that we sell, we're okay with that because we think that it ultimately protects the consumer from recommendations that maybe are not necessary or not efficient to them. We look at ourselves as the most pro-consumer company in the entire vitamin market. There's no other company that's using personal data and technology to get the consumers to less pills and powders and more efficient results. And we really pride ourselves on that kind of model versus a pill pack model where there's a lot of rationale to overprescribe pills, and a lot of times the consumer spend skyrockets in those models where consumers will ultimately spend $90, $100 plus a month on their vitamin routine.
Yeah, I mean the top package is $40 for the trial, even cheaper for the subscription. So
That's right.
it's a really low price point. So if these customers are often printing that results page out and bringing that to their doctor, is there an email follow-up sequence as part of the funnel in your strategy?
We ordinarily, just as regular practice, do follow up with customers. If they take the survey and they don't make a purchase, we will still give them offers to make their first purchase or educational materials. We really pride ourselves on having one of the most expansive content libraries in the industry. We're actually not aware of any content library on vitamin education that's been written exclusively by board certified physicians that's larger than what we have. So we have over 100 articles written by doctors on vitamins and fatigue or skin health or heart health or cancer, migraines and headaches, a range of issues. And it took us many years to put together that content library, and we're really proud of it.
That's great. Is that something that's available on the website through like a subscription model, through blog posts, through?
Yeah, it's available on the website in our blog section. You can search any of the articles. We get a lot of organic traffic because of the quality of our content. And we also push it via email to consumers in more of a personalized way, depending on the information that they share about themselves. And we think that that's one of the really exciting things about a direct-to-consumer personalized vitamin company is you can really nuance the communication that you send out and speak to people in a more defined way about themselves and their health. When I go into the store and I buy a bottle of multivitamins, that company doesn't know who I am, and I may not know what half of those 30 ingredients on the back label are. I'll never hear from them again. And the great thing about this model is, consumers are trusting us with their data, and they're expecting us to give them very targeted information relevant to vitamins. And we feel that we're one of the leaders in fulfilling that promise.
Yeah, I mean, personalization in general, the supplement area is a great way to niche down. Tell me a little bit about your digital marketing strategy. How are you getting visitors to the site? That sort of thing.
Yeah, so our digital marketing strategy is really built around a couple of things. One is digital advertising on different forums. Some of them are more mainstream, like Google and Facebook and Instagram. Others are more niche digital channels. But I'd say the commonality across our digital advertising is we try to tell the story of our company around the founder's story and the two doctors that started this. They are not just the founders of Vous Vitamin, but they're also the authors of the award-winning book, The Vitamin Solution, which won 7 national awards, seen as one of the most seminal books in the space. And so in digital advertising, we always point to, look who started this company. These are doctors that set out to clarify the confusion for their patients around vitamins and supplements. These are the medical doctors who are the authors of the award-winning seminal book in this space. And these are the doctors that believe that there is room in the market for a pro-consumer personalized model. And so we really do our best to put the doctors forward and to help them tell their story to digital audiences. The other digital advertising strategy we have is partnerships. And we work with many partners in different areas as referral partners or affiliates to send traffic to our website. And we have a range of partners from employers, payers, brokers, fitness, other wellness companies that really buy into what we're doing in terms of reinventing a multivitamin process for the consumer.
And is all that traffic going to the top of the funnel, meaning the homepage, or are you using like landing pages or pre-sale pages to sort of warm them up before you get them to the quiz? Or is there a specific like quiz landing page that most of the traffic goes to bypassing the homepage?
Great question. And we've experimented with some different models. Right now, our best converting page that we use a lot as a landing page is our homepage. We've had other pages that we've tried. We've directed traffic to our survey start page. Hasn't been as effective of a dropping off point because I think consumers want to learn more of the story behind the company before they jump into the quiz. They want to see some proof points. They want to read some reviews before they jump into the quiz. So we found the homepage is better. For different partners, we'll have partner-specific landing pages. For example, we just launched a partnership that got a lot of press. We are now working with the largest provider of in-store digital kiosks in the country. It's a company called Higgy. They place digital kiosks in grocery stores and pharmacies. And we have a large partner through Higgy, Giant Eagle. And Giant Eagle customers get to a landing page that's specific to them and says, welcome, and here's a specific Giant Eagle discount. And it's a different kind of experience.
Interesting. So how does that experience or funnel work? So like, do they take the quiz in store at the kiosk?
Yeah, so the kiosk gives them information on how to start the survey from their phone, or if they register at the kiosk, they'll get an email about how to take the survey. And so Some people will do it on their phone in the store. Others will get a follow-up email and do it, at a later point in time. But they see information about the company in the personalized vitamin survey while they're shopping. So the kiosk is like a digital billboard, and they learn about the company through the kiosk, and then they can do the survey from their phone or from their home, whatever is more comfortable for them.
That's real interesting because you're putting the quiz, right? You're putting the marketing element right at the point of confusion, right? When you're walking down that aisle and you're bombarded with which supplement do I buy? There's a million different choices. So the billboard or the digital billboard acts as that marketing magnet. That's a really interesting approach.
Yeah. The media has called this the digital vitamin aisle. And so we think we've really reinvented the shopping experience for consumers. They now have an in-store resource to get a personalized vitamin subscription going. And we found a retailer that thinks differently about personalized vitamins. So Giant Eagle, their thinking is, can we help support their customers in long-term adherence to a vitamin routine and give their customers ongoing education and high-quality content, and keep them on their vitamin longer, which benefits us, it benefits Higgy, and it benefits Giant Eagle if we can support the subscriber in their long-term adherence.
That's a really interesting approach. What about the books? I think the Vitamin Solution book, is a really also another potential uh, lead to bring someone into your funnel. Are you guys using that in any way in the marketing aspect?
We do. For example, this past week, I've been interacting quite frequently with heads of HR at companies, because we have the industry's first corporate vitamin education and access program for employers. And part of the way that I demonstrate to HR leaders that we're a credible partner around vitamins for their workforce is I share a copy of the book. And I say, hey, read for yourself. These are two preeminent medical doctors that are national experts. You can see through their writing that they have looked at the studies. They know what's fact and fiction around vitamins, and all that's being driven into really targeted products that overall reduce the cost of vitamins for many employees versus their own experimentation in the vitamin aisles or buying pill packs. And so that's been a great argument for HR departments is, look, we've got credible education behind our product. We have a book, and we're a company about reducing the overall spend on supplements, not about driving it up. And that's a much different paradigm for employers.
Yeah. What about the digital online aspect? Like, 'cause the book is a really great opportunity to like bring someone in to buy the book, maybe like a free plus shipping offer, and then after they purchase the book, take them through the quiz or the survey to personalize their vitamins. Have you ever tried that angle?
Uh, it happens organically sometimes where people will buy the book and then come find the website and go through a personalized vitamin experience. But I think that, we have some opportunity to further market around the strength of the book. In the last few years, so many positive reviews have come out on the book, and independent review organizations have just sung its praises. So it is a very powerful marketing tool that we can use.
Yeah, I mean, it adds a ton of credibility, especially because the doctors are behind it, which is even more credible, right? So bringing someone in to the top of the funnel, or even using the book as an add-on to get them to stick longer for higher retention, I think are kind of great strategies that might not be utilized here.
I agree, Bobby. I think it's some upside for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Howard, what are kind of some of the challenges you face when you're trying to market? Uh, I know there's a lot of challenges around Facebook and marketing supplements, and you're going the Google route, which is in some respects easier, and the affiliate route as well. But some of those can kind of be limiting. So, are there any challenges you face with scaling and growing, or even when you're first starting up?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of noise right now in many online channels, and it's hard for consumers to find you. And so what we've found is really effective for us is retargeting consumers that come to us in different ways. It could be organic traffic through social media ads or search ads. Retargeting is always a very effective way to go. Really narrowing your target audience to who you know responds. Um, for us, we put a disproportionate amount of our budget into more mature consumers, as I mentioned earlier, 40 plus age cohort, which we think there's many vitamin companies that would struggle to communicate with those types of consumers because they don't have the upfront credibility of our story and who's behind our offering. And so I think we've had to be very specific in how we display ads and where we display ads, and been monitoring results on different channels and shifting our budget accordingly.
Interesting. And any things, or any learnings there, or any challenges, or even failures that you can share?
Well, I think one learning for us is we do particularly well on a CPA basis, or a cost per acquisition basis, for a subscriber. Our subscribers have such great loyalty to them and a high lifetime value that we can bid pretty aggressively on a CPA basis and beat out a lot of different companies in terms of exposure of our ads and traffic to our website, because we know that customers will come back. They can stay with a customized all-in-one multivitamin versus some alternatives that are out there. So that's been, I think, an important learning for us. And I think we're always thinking about marketing too on the retention side. There's always the acquisition marketing, which is its own challenge, but then there's making sure that the customer knows across their journey of months and years what it is they're taking, why they're taking it, what they'll feel, what they'll never feel, but still helping them in that respect. We have a great opportunity to market over a long tail to either a survey taker or a subscriber, and so we spend a lot of effort there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got so much data on the individual and such a stronger relationship because of that, that those things not the average supplement company can't leverage.
Exactly. What we're doing is building direct data-based relationships with consumers, and we think that's one of the most powerful forms of loyalty relationship out there. And there's very few companies in the market either doing that or doing it effectively right now. And so, we're really proud of our ability to do that, and we've built a model over time to support that kind of knowledge about the consumer.
Yeah, personalization is where the future is headed for supplements, and it's a great way to niche down. I love the value proposition, how you break it down to just a few pills a day, and the price point is something I can even utilize. It's the same. That's a really strong value proposition.
We think so too. And the challenge for us is always discovery and how can we create more discovery, because we think when consumers do find us, they're really satisfied with what we're putting out there and how we set up the company to deliver a really great experience. So we're excited as we continue to grow. We'll have more money to introduce ourselves to a broader range of consumers, and we think that this model continues to grow over time.
Yeah, 100% agree. I can't see how it won't. I guess final question before we wrap things up. What kind of trends are you seeing, industry-wide trends or even individual trends to Blue vitamins that you've noticed?
Yeah. We're coming off of the COVID-19 pandemic, and everyone knows that that's really been a boon to the supplement industry. Many more consumers are interested in their wellness. I think a lesser known trend behind COVID-19 is there's been a return to the experts. I think a lot of consumers are trying to figure out where's their real science and who are the respected experts. Just like a lot of people learned about, Dr. Anthony Fauci during the pandemic. They're saying, well, who would I respect as the experts in the vitamin space, and who knows what they're talking about? And we're very fortunate to have just preeminent experts at the front end of our model and have their expertise really layered throughout everything that we do. And we think that over time, there'll be less consumers interested in celebrity-backed vitamins, less, I guess, if you want to call it goop-like communities, and more interested in communities around the experts. And that's where we think we'll do well.
Interesting. So the trend you're seeing is shifting away from the influencer traffic and more towards the expert traffic.
Yes.
So with that is like, what is on your horizon? Like, is it just more like PR engagement, or are there other things that you're thinking about or looking into?
Well, we're very effectual from a PR perspective. So our doctors generated 2.6 billion media impressions last year alone, in 2020. And they earn all their media attention because, they're who mainstream news outlets feel comfortable getting information from. They're also very good at translating some of the science to make it understandable to the average consumer. They're great storytellers, and they're great about translating, what they understand and making it relatable. So we're going to continue to press hard on the PR front. And then we're going to continue to build partnerships for third-party communities, whether those be other CPG companies and brands or other types of health and wellness companies. We're going to build bridges based on our education and expertise as the tip of the spear, if you will, for those partnerships.
Excellent. That's a sound strategy. How about the product line? Any future thoughts in like expanding the line?
Well, we're constantly expanding the range of formulations that we put together for individuals. We're constantly going through the data science of looking at the data that we've received and thinking about how that plays into multivitamin formulas. And we're developing products that are more situational in nature, not meant to be everyday vitamins, but as needed. For example, we just launched a product on altitude sickness called Mountain Rescue. So if you're traveling and going to higher altitudes, these vitamins can help, but it's not something you would take daily. We have similar situational supplements for energy, immunity, and recovery from alcohol consumption.
Interesting. So even further niches within the marketplace. That's fantastic.
Right. The personalized multivitamin is the foundation to daily nutrition. And we think that there's also this category of situational nutrition that we can address as well.
So, I say we wrap up. This is good. I'm just thinking of more and more interesting questions as you talk. Are you bringing people in from a digital strategy point of view for those other niches like altitude sickness, or is that something that you're finding out in like a post survey? Because I know you don't ask that sort of thing in the survey itself in the quiz funnel, or is that a separate line of like how does that fit into the whole marketing plan?
Yeah, so we are reaching some consumers by marketing around situational needs and then introducing them to a personalized multivitamin as a result of that. We're also just satisfying our current customers and giving them other solutions that go beyond a daily solution. But we think that our situational supplements, there's a lot of marketing upside that's left untapped. We want to continue to invest in better packaging, better experience around those products, which we think can live on marketplaces. Those can live on Amazon.com or Thrive Market, places where a personalized vitamin can't necessarily live. And so in many ways, that can be a starter product or an introductory product to introduce a consumer to the brand. And then they discover that our cornerstone product is a personalized product and go through that experience with us.
There's probably opportunity on the personalized area for those other conditions as well, I'm sure. I mean, now with a personalized altitude sickness or personalized recovery supplement, Those would probably be killer.
Yeah, there's no question that there's some potential to do some personalization in those areas. We haven't explored that yet, but that could be something that we could do down the road. I think there's gonna be a lot of personalization in OTC wellness, period. I think you're gonna see personalization in pain medications and other types of products, which right now, you can go to the Walgreens aisle and find pain medication in many different dosages. And you're wondering, well, what should I take and when should I take that? So I think personalization is going to become a stronger trend to help the consumer navigate OTC products. And we're just fortunate that we've been doing this since 2014 and are really a first runner company in this area and have gained a lot of experience over the last 7 years that helps guide what we do today.
That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Vous Vitamins, where people can go to try out the survey, to take the vitamins, or anything about yourself, where people can reach out and find you?
Yeah, we would welcome people to try out our personalized vitamin survey at Vous Vitamin, VOUS vitamin.com. It's a 5 to 7 minute survey. And at the end of it, you get your results, and there's no obligation to order. So even if you're just curious and want to see what we recommend for you, go through the survey and try it out. And if you want to order, know that you're going to get a really simple, cost-effective solution backed with really strong education and adherence coaching. And we're going to help be your partner on a long-term vitamin taking journey. Would also encourage people, if they're interested to learn more about vitamins, to read the book, The Vitamin Solution. Two doctors clear the confusion about vitamins in your health. It's available on Amazon.com or wherever books are sold. And there's an audio book that was released about a year ago too. So if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it on audiobook. And we'd encourage people to just get familiar with the two principals and founders of the company, Dr. Ariel Levitan and Dr. Rami Block, who are incredible medical doctors that have devoted a huge chunk of their careers to understanding nutritional supplement science and understanding, what are the best studies out there around when supplements are effective on different kinds of profiles. And it's great to read their work because it's so they make it so relatable, and they're such good translators of the science that it's easy and accessible for readers that don't have a lot of background on vitamins.
That's great. Brad, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Bobby. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.